We at ET Now have a channel manifesto, Rise with India. And if I really have to personify Rise with India, one person comes to my mind, and that's Kangana Ranaut. She's been a fighter, she's been a go-getter from a simpleton from the land of Himalayas all the way to the 75 screen in Mumbai and in everyone's hearts. Please welcome Kangana Ranaut. Kangana, welcome to the show and welcome to ET Now.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this warm introduction.
You are the Rise with India story, right? You've risen along with India's progress. And somehow this lockdown has given us all of time to, think back on how life has been. It's given us that spare time to really mull over how our journeys have been. When you look back, Kangana, how is it that you would analyze your journey so far? Is it a gratifying experience?
It was, it is indeed gratifying, but at the same time, I do feel that because of the way the world has been and the way when we started, like I started in 2005 and 6, my film came out. Ever since, I do feel that we are this millennial generation, and I do feel that the pace of our lives is unrealistic,
Yeah.
and the way we are going, a competition around us, and especially with the whole digital age, from being appreciated, like for my first film, um, when I started wearing those gowns and those dresses once in a while, and they will get very popular. To today, where you need constant feeds, at least you've got to be on your toes when it comes to changing clothes, um, and then even films or good films or good songs, they don't have that much life, even though like I I can't complain, but like being a part of films like Queen or Manikarnika, I can't complain. But at the same time, um, in days before us, when we were growing up, watching films like Dilwale Dulhaniya Mohra, I feel films or songs like Tu Cheez Badi Hai Mast Mast, like songs were enjoyed for years.
Yeah.
Uh, just a good today, a good song doesn't have a life more than 1 month maybe, or a good film, because there's so much competition and whole westernization, where we also have Western films in our cinemas. So I do feel that there is a lot of pressure on our generation, and especially the leading faces on whichever field we are, because we have competition from almost everywhere. So in these many years, I do feel that even though I have always lived up to the opportunities that life has thrown on me, um, but at the same time, it has been very hard or harsh on me as an individual. And it's a good, I call it a pause to kind of, get your breath back and to understand and to um, reflect.
Yeah, absolutely. Karunya and I are wondering, how is lockdown for film stars like? You used to walking around with an entourage, with makeup, hair, stylist, everything. During lockdown, who does your makeup and who chooses your clothes?
It's quite humbling, I must say, especially with a lot of uncertainties that is coming to films, and um, where the essentials have been kind of essentials all along, and it's been like a quite a reality check when you do not make it to your work doesn't make it to the list of essential. Well, we can do without you. You be inside the house for now. Well, it's quite humbling because you've been always made to feel, and the way you've been feeling is like you're movie stars and you're important and all that. And through this pandemic, I think one thing has been uh, has come quite clear is the fact that the world can do without us, and it will do perfectly fine without us. So it's humbling, I'd say,
Yeah.
and this time is to understand that who we are and who we have become beyond movie stars, and Like for example, like I'm getting these grays, and I kind of never got time to look into myself, look into the mirror and see myself as this woman who's not a girl anymore. And so all these things, because you're doing characters after characters, and
Mm.
when I came to Mumbai, I was always the youngest person on the sets. I was hardly 16.
Yeah.
So from there, I never got time to sit back and stare
Pause. Yeah.
grains, you know. So while I'm 33 and today when I look at myself, I feel that there is so much to catch up.
Right.
So
It's definitely given us all an opportunity to sort of pause and look back and also, think about things, etc. But Kangna, we'd all also love to know how you keeping yourselves busy amid the lockdown. How are you being productive? Are you reading any scripts? Are you writing or working on something exciting?
well, that spoke like a true business journalist.
Well,
how
that's what we're
मतलब
here
की
for.
बात बताओ.
how are you being productive? Uh, well, I've stopped asking myself this question because this question is, like I said, it's a very tricky question. It never really gets answered. So at the same time, I'd say that I've I know myself and I do understand that people like us who work a lot, they have a lot of excessive energy, and that can lead to a lot of frustration or desperation if it's not utilized well. So I try and keep a schedule. I try and wake up early and sleep early and catch up on my yoga, read something. Also, to be honest, I have not been in mountains for a while, so my family is keeping me very busy. I have a little nephew who's growing up very fast. So the kind of my personal life suffers a lot being this successful career women. We'll all agree that women anyway have a very exciting family life back home always. We find a lot of joy in people, unlike men. We find a lot of joy in even in kind of home gossip or little bit home kitchen politics. We can pretty much entertain ourselves with that. Uh, so so I think all that I'm catching up on because I have a lot of relatives here, and it's nice.
Has
Well,
Kangana Ranaut stepped into the kitchen at all? Have you been cooking or just mom's feeding you silly?
Well, I'm cooking, yes, because like I said, my little nephew is little man I want to impress. So so my mama also has been cooking, but on and off we are all taking our turns.
Kangna, like you said, it's been a very humbling experience for you, the lockdown, and perhaps that's why you're not bringing up your very exciting venture, which we all are very intrigued and excited about as well. You're venturing into movie making business. Can you tell us a little bit more? I mean, how did it happen from on camera to behind the cameras? Tell us about your journey and your transition to this.
I think see when growth happens, and its manifestation outside of you is inevitable, right? It's inside, it's happening.
Yeah.
So I think I started as a girl who came from the mountains, in search of employment. Then I wanted a successful career. I still remember when I was very young and I fought with my parents, and I was just hoping one movie, if I get to do just one movie, I'll be able to at least go back home and be like, I proved a point. And that one movie mattered so much. And I was all the time praying that just make any movie happen. Movie or advertisement or something where I've told my parents that, I'll make it happen or whatever. And then one happened, and after that, another and another. And then it became about being successful, not for parents. They were very impressed even with one movie. They were like, we can't believe you're like on TV, like you're on television. So for them, it's a big to see me on screen. So then it became about being successful. And then as a person, as a human being, when you grow and you feel that it's not just about you or your life, or you just making money and declaring yourself successful as an individual. There's many things about you that stand,
Yeah.
and you at one point you stop making it about, and I think it comes with maybe with enough appreciation or success or you've seen that, you're beyond that. You know, the rest of it will be just going around in circles, doing the same thing unless you don't really grow out of it. So out of that, I think that insight or that foresight that I had, that if I go do films after films after films, where will I land as an actor, as an individual? So I think that urge to do more than that has made me want to produce films, um, and and to be honest, the sheer power of cinema, you can actually reach out. It's a lot of there's a lot of power in this medium, and you can heal the one who's damaged, who's been hurt. You can speak about the one who's been hurting. You can reach out to people. You can direct their consciousness into something more passionate. So I think all of this has collectively wanted me to make films.
And in that sense, Kangana, you've always been a very sensitive story picker. Pick up any of your movies in the past, be it a Panga, be it a Mental Hai Kya. You never see the same Kangana being repeated in any of the movies. Is that a conscious choice? And is that how you're going to go about when it comes to Manikarnika films as well? A conscious decision maker and a conscious filmmaker?
Yes, totally. I mean, I think the idea is to to see movie business beyond money. I think a lot of producers see it as a means to their livelihood or things like that. But for me, because I'm already a successful actor, for me to leave one career and start from a scratch into this, I clearly do not have that problem. So I would want to definitely go past that. I mean, success or money should be a consequence of the work that you want to do. So that has not been my criteria.
So what's the true passion? Is it movie making or is it acting?
It keeps changing. To be honest, I mean that's how it should be. And I think when I'm on a film set, I completely exist as an actor. I love taking instructions, and I love the way other filmmakers or producers get excited about my talent, the way they utilize me. And I, as a producer or as a director, I like to, kind of use. There's so many people, when you're you're a director, producer, you work with a lot of creative people. So I get excited about that as well.
So as a filmmaker, at the risk of sounding once again like a business journalist again, what kind of cinema would Kangana Ranaut like to invest in?
I think, like I said, something which has meaning to it. Like there are people who entertain, and then there are people who engage. I would like to be, the latter one.
Okay.
And I would want to be involved with people, and to kind of have an impact. For example, like a queen started a word about woman empowerment in India, and Manikarnika started nationalism, the talk about nationalism, and they call me one what raging right wing bigot or something they call me, but whatever it is, like it started a talk about nationalism. So that's what I'm saying, that I would want to engage with people on
But tell me one thing, you've actually prompted me to my next question. Why is it that Kangana Ranaut is always in the center and middle of all controversies and gossip columns? You always land yourself into that. Why?
I've always, I mean, you guys have known me after I've come into films, but I've always been like that, even back home. I was not comfortable with the way I was looked at. I think being a woman has always been very beautiful, kind of life to be. But the way the world looks at a woman, and the way I was looked at as a girl child, even back home, I was not comfortable with that. And I think that kind of retaliation always led to a lot of drama in my life.
And you've been very closely associated with a lot of you've been a prominent voice for a lot of female artists in the industry. You've talked about gender pay parity. You're one of the highest, in fact, probably the highest paid actress in the Hindi film industry. So talk to us about, ever since you joined the movies and till now, how have things evolved? Have they got any better for female artists in terms of pay parity, or in terms of the struggles that you all have to go through?
Well, women are in a really bad condition, I must say that, because we are probably the first generation to step out of house and to work. So obviously there are no standards for us. There are no good standards set for us. Like a male counterpart of mine who's probably coming up would be a natural heir to, say, like a Shah Rukh Khan, or like an Amitabh Bachchan or somebody like that. But with somebody like me, I don't know dancing, and I don't like to do the flower on the wall rolls. So I really do not have nobody who I can follow after. So there are not many successful women, if you see, um, and even the ones who are coming up, they have many issues, like the way they're dressed, the way they are, people are. This is still a debate in our country, how you should be at workplace, and women are judged. They don't get paid for the same work. They don't get paid as much as their male counterparts. And then, of course, um, you know, um, being a woman, you would also have different kind of, like I said, um,
Hmm.
situations where I don't think, just because I'm a woman, and you know all those cases that were done on me, some 6 7 people had cases on me. They
Hmm.
were me behind bars, and one affair gone wrong, that I had to professionally, it led to a very big kind of industry against me movement. So I feel that all this is happening because we're the first generation of women to be
Right.
out. Um, in majority, I mean, earlier, of course, there were, but a working woman is not is wasn't an absolute.
Yeah,
Whereas,
absolutely. In that sense, you're the Manikarnika of our generation. It requires balls of steel to go out there and fight against all odds when you know it's going to be industry versus you. But have things settled? When you now look back, Kangana, would you have done it any differently, or are you proud of the course and the chart that you followed and the way you fought against the odds?
well, they tried to box me. They tried to put me in, or like that, and I refused to be boxed. And I'm like,
Hmm.
journey is mine, and I can't dance, but I can fight. And I can't do item numbers, but I can do so much more. But there were no options for me, so probably that's why, um, that's why I also reached. I was not somebody who just settled with that. I'm like, okay, fine, if I don't have opportunities, I'll create them. And to be able to pull off Matikarnika, and to be able to pull off a lot of my films are the ones where, most of them, where with new directors, or with um, with the relatively new producers. So basically, the film is being carried on my shoulders. So all that happened because I never gave up, and I thought, fine, if you've never seen somebody like me, I'm not too bad. But
Absolutely.
But do you resent that, Kangna, at all? Not being signed by a VRF or a Dharma Productions?
well, I did. I was offered,
Hmm.
and I mean, there's been plenty of offers, but then I mean, by the time I had gone too far, and most big production houses, when they hire you, they also do to sign contracts with you to make you their exclusive talents, and then you have to
Hmm.
go to them. So my point was that for the longest time, no agency hired me.
Hmm.
I got success after 8 years of struggle, and when I was struggling coming up, I won't do fairnet, I won't dance in weddings, I won't So the agents, like big agents, they're like, this girl is a problem because she doesn't want to make money. And I say, I want to make money, but you don't understand. I can't do this. They're like, you are struggling and you don't have those many options. And I'm like, look, I'm gonna find my way through this. 4 agencies, after working with me for six months, they just abandoned me because I had so many, do's and
Ifs
don'ts.
and buts.
Yes.
But Kangana, any instance professionally or any moment that really moved you to sort of be so articulate and be so vocal about these issues issues and struggles that are there in Bollywood?
Well, maybe I come from a very kind of I don't know, conservative family, or and I've been very touchy about the way they treated me always and the way they spoke to me. Even in my family, I used to insist that you know um, they do not treat me like a kid even when I was a kid. So I think the way women were treated on the sets, also working with big heroes and all that, whole day waiting for them, 6, 6, 7 hours, and then being told that they won't give you dates unless they get dates from the hero, and then you will be, because I've done those 2, 3 films where I played the flower on the wall. So this kind of humiliation and just being really insignificant, and also to have the honesty to accept that I'm here because I look pleasant, and I am here because I have kind of beautiful appearance. Pretty much anybody can replace me with these qualities, and they don't need no other quality of mine except for that. So I have that much honesty to face that, and I'm like, but I have so much more to offer. Like, I'm a very good artist, and I have and I can be a very good creative partner as well. And they don't need nothing just because I'm a girl, and maybe because light skinned girl, or something like that. That's why they have me here. I could not take that. I was too I was too affected by that kind of life.
But Kamla, with a lot of success comes a lot of money as well. And the point that you're making about women liberation is also that women are now getting financially independent. And I'm sure you also would have found a new voice the minute you started making your own money. How is it that Kangana Ranaut manages her money? Do you have a battery of CAs following you behind, or are you calling the shots on your money and how it's being invested as well?
Well, to be honest, I never thought that when I will make money, I don't think that has been the priority ever, because growing up, the kind of family we come from, it's very different. Um, we are made to we we're taught to spend money, use money, but we're also taught to live without money. We can pretty much, very comfortably. So but making money was a lot of fun initially, because you have money, you buy clothes, and when you make small money, you buy clothes and you have party, and you don't know what to do with that money because it's small money, right? You travel the world and you buy Dior, Gucci bags, and you're like, wow. But when the big money happens, then you make investments, and those investments get you. They enslave you, because they need to either you spend in bonds, so you need to give constant money to that, or if you've taken a property, of course, there is a certain amount of loan to that. You've got to keep feeding that. And you're like, where is the money? And you're thinking, I don't feel like a rich person because all checks, like digits, flow into my account, like digits, and digits just disappear from my account into various little blocks. So this whole digitization is something I feel like, what kind of world? Like, there were times when my dada used to get pension, he used to get, like, because he's a retired army man and an MLA, so he used to get quite a lot of pension. So he used to give. I was tiny, and he used to give me. He had this base coat that they to put in his base coat. I remember touching money maybe back then.
Yeah.
After, maybe a little bit here and there, but I don't remember touching money. So it hurt me because the whole idea of money was to be able to kind of, feel it,
See it
right?
and feel it. Yeah.
But but with the small money and big, anything exciting you bought, anything close to your heart, or that you can call your best bet or your best investment?
Well, like we are that generation of children who are very aspirational. I don't think our children will be like that because they will have everything, right? But but we are the aspirational generation. So I know when I started to make money, there was I wanted to buy everything, and I did, from fancy cars to diamonds to beautiful homes, everything I did. Um, I think that was pretty much what I wanted to do, and I'm not into. I'm if I do something once, I don't go into the loop of collecting cars or collecting diamonds, but I will do once and see how that feels and move on.
Well, that's nice. Now that you're a businesswoman as well, I'm sure you must have got a lot of business advice and financial advice from not only professionals, but people around you, your close ones as well. What is the best piece of advice that you would like to keep with yourself?
No, not really. I don't get too much advice, and especially the ones that I get are so useless. Doesn't work for me because look, I mean, everybody's experiences are different.
Yeah.
When I was buying my office, everyone was against it. They're like, "Who? I mean, this much profit, the money that you're spending, you will not be able to make in another, 5 years because there has to be kind of investment and return, and then when you make profit, then you buy an office because you can pretty much make a film anywhere." But my point was that, growing up, I've struggled a lot. I've even like gone without food for days, and I've gone through extreme struggle. I don't want to start like that as a filmmaker. I want to give myself the luxury of, having my own place and do things at my own pace. So
And why not?
yeah, nobody agreed with that because there are some great examples who have started from like one room and made great films. You can, and I don't want to discourage the ones who are doing it in that way because, of course, it works like that as well. But like I said, everybody's life is different and you're different. I still feel my one piece of advice which I follow, that every like when I left my house, there is a I was very young, I was very, at 15 and 16. I was not very worldly
Right.
wise
Yeah.
because my parents said, "We will not support you." So I said, "So what? I have so many friends, they will feed me." This was my logic. Then they said, "There are people out there who kill children, who, kind of, you will go through bad experiences and blah, blah." My logic was, I never met such people. And then there were, my parents told me, "You will come back, you will miss out on your stuff, your future is finished, and nothing will happen, you will just drop out." And then I thought to myself, so what? I will just be an older kid in the class. If I go back to the college, I will just be 2, 3 years older. What else? So my point is, none of this makes any sense in the logic world. So everything that is the reason for my success today, number one is stupidity. Number two, logiclessness. Number three, an innocence, which is very child,
Naive.
naive. So
Yeah.
all these things, which are in the first place reason for my success, when I got successful, I should not lose that. I think to be little mad, little stupid, little illogical, all these things if they've been working for you, then continue with that.
And what
But
is
do you regret not finishing up education, Kangana? And do you now believe that you've seen more world? I wish I'd completed my studies. Is that a regretful thought ever?
No, because when I came to films, I did realize that I need to study. It was like literally something that was so there for me to see. I was naive. I was from mountains, and I did not even have education to my. So I did educate myself. Whether I learned English or even with I was very keen on science and all that. So I studied that. I also went to New York Film Academy. I studied filmmaking and screenwriting. So till I studied till the age of 25, 26. I was just studying. You won't believe, on my own. But I mean, that's what you, like I said, the one quality about me, I would say people encourage people to, when you see yourself in the mirror, don't lie to yourself. I was already making money, whether I was making small money. It was easy for me to come home and be like, I am fine. I'm working now. But I had the humility to tell myself that, you know what, you should have not, you should have completed your studies, and that would have not been an obstacle in your career because you're still very young. So I had that honesty. Yeah.
Kangana, to those of you who are watching you, who are big admirers and followers of you, what will be your one tip or your one advice to everybody who's starting out their own venture or who is sort of just starting to make money? How should they go about it? What will be your advice? Whether or not it's illogical, that's up to you.
I think today what I feel the problem with our generation is that because everything is in so much abundance, like if you have to, you can go online and find 100 options. If you want to buy one dress, they will present you 500 dresses of your choice. So I think we tend to get carried away. There was a time when, before I started, spending money on fancy brands or diamonds or cars, I first bought my house. I saved money for that. So I think saving money is an important part of making money. And one should know how to save money. Just because you're making a lot of money today, also, like I went through the bills of my, whatever bills my staff gives me. I asked them, why these tomatoes when you had got tomatoes 2 days before? It's not that those 10 rupees don't matter to me today. Making enough money, you don't need to learn all this. Well, it's very tricky. You've got to know where to spend your money, and you've got to know, like I said, if I can buy, I can put my savings into an office, which will, where I could have invested in something which would have given me some kind of return. But at the same time, I also know that how to, kind of, manage my expenses.
So where is it that you save money, Kangna? Now you've bought your properties, you've bought your cars, you've bought the Gucci bags, everything, and the diamonds. Where are you investing now?
Well, it's not that I kind of stock money in FDs or something. I don't even do. Maybe after my office, I was planning to kind of, with the project I'm doing now, I'm planning to maybe buy some shares or something of some reliable companies. But that's now has come to a standstill. But for now, I have spent my money. Like, say, I think life insurance is something good that you can think of, and bonds are something that you must invest in. And like I said, properties are a good return, even if market falls. There's still something that you can always fall back on.
Well, Kangna, we'd beg to differ. If you really want stock advice and where to invest your money, you should watch ET Now. You'll get lots of gyan on what to do with your money. But
like that who watches like stop. But like I said, when you're making small money, it's fine, but when the money actually comes, you're like, it's such a nuisance to be managing it. You become literally like a manager of your own money. So I'll have to do that now. If I start to buy shares and stocks, then obviously I see people so obsessed with this whole there's another world altogether.
There's a reason. It's better investment than real estate. Karunne and I can pull out data and after data and try and convince you to that. But I just wanted to, also talk about Kangna, the fact that a lot of movie makers are now opting and taking the OTT route. A lot of movies are now getting released on Amazon and Netflixes of the world. Do you think now with lockdown and this whole debate about who's going to go to multiplexes in a hurry, forget flying or doing anything else, do you think that's the way? Will big cinema and big movies also have to find their way to an OTT release?
No, I don't think so. Because see, earlier it will definitely go through a transformation. Earlier we were used to watching films, just like any film or every film on big screen. But now big screen will become more of a cinematic experience, and maybe 3D or 4D, all these things will catch up. Um, and also it will be much more expensive as well. And films that are more digital friendly, because digital seems like a more personal experience. If what works on digital is more erotic stuff and more gruesome or more personalized, but when it's a community viewing, there is still like I said, a Manikarnika or a Tamaji or a Uri or a Lion King. These are community viewing. No matter how much more comfort that is given to us, and how much more comfortable it becomes to see films or content on our own screens, but still there is something so gratifying about community experience that I think cinema will transform, but it will definitely not go completely out of picture. It will go through a transformation, which is anyway good, because a film to be in theaters should deserve a theatrical release.
So,
what is your next theatrical release then?
All my films that I'm doing are very theater friendly. Like they're for community viewing, they're for children, and for whether I'm doing Thalaivi, which is an inspirational story about a leader, or Tejas, which is a war film about an Air Force pilot, or whether it is Dakar, which is also a revenge drama action film. So all these films are theater friendly, and I hope they theater release.
So, as a filmmaker or as an artist, how excited are you to work on a digital project, an OTT-led project? Because, like you mentioned, they are more personalized, less censored. You can pick up topics that are less talked about, etc. So, as a creative-minded person, how excited are you about working on the platform?
It may be a lot more easier to be able to skip censor, and to be able to have more intimate relationship with the viewer. But there is also a thrill to be able to pass all those obstacles, and to be able to make a film which kind of collectively they can enjoy what you make. So even though I'm producing, but I don't think as a director, I will make something so soon for digital experience.
What's the kind of favorite subject that you would like to direct, Kangana? What is it that you're currently working on? Any script that you're mulling over for your directorial venture?
Yes, I am working on my first solo directorial venture. It will be a big film epic. Historical history is something that I love, and science fiction is something are my favorite. So definitely, I will be making things related to these two.
Superwoman Kangana.
Not that kind of a science fiction. Not really. Not necessarily about a superhuman. I actually love. I'm not a superhero fan.
Oh, you're not?
No, I'm not a superhero fan. I love real people, and that's why I think like somebody like Manikarnika is my inspiration, or Mary
Real
Kom.
heroes.
Yeah, real heroes. Yes, I'm not into superheroes.
So, Kangana, in this lockdown, I'm sure you've gotten to spend a lot of time with your family as well. And I'm sure you've gotten down to talking about the previous days. You've talked about, there's a bit of a remorse in the way you talk about how you were treated as being a girl child back in the day. All the gile shikways have been talked out, and have you made your peace with your parents and your family?
Oh yeah, I mean, there is no like hard feelings or anything. There is no, you know, uh, it's something they too understand, right? Like, for example, um, it is so deep rooted. I think it's so that it's just become funny now. For example, when we were children, so and say they come with sweets and gifts and all that when guests come home. So my daddy would usually keep those sweets boxes with her, and she will forget about it. And then we will remind her. Somebody in the house will remind her that give children those sweets, and if they're spoiled, so she will say that don't give it to the boys, give it to girls, give it to girls. So we will laugh about it, that if am I saying that give it to girls, that means it had
Kharab ho gayi hai.
Kharab ho gayi hai. Something like that. It's not that it's in a cruel way, but some jokes like that.
Yeah, absolutely. But you're just talking about all the things that you've said so far. The entire episode wherein you went vocal about what's happening with a fellow co-star and what transpired. You talked about the industry versus you kind of fight. Has that all resolved now? Are you back to getting the party invitations? Are you back to getting calls from them for roles? Or is it still a very much watertight compartment wherein Kangana Ranaut does her own things, her own production, her own movies, with not so known artists and her in the lead?
No. I mean, it's not that I'm not doing film not so known artists. I in my film there are a lot of nice known artists, but also the fact that I've also started like a parallel cinema earlier. But with me now, there are films which are like parallel films. So and when I go to events, they meet me kind of discomfort by either parties. So I think it's a nice place to be, and I don't know what I mean where I in the social circuit where I stand in film industry, but definitely in professional circuit I'm the most prominent one, and the kind of work
that's all that matters.
Yeah, because I'm there in that capacity, and to be honest, for me to today feel that I don't have too many friends there, or I don't have enough circle there, is because I never indulged or made efforts in that direction. So today, for me to feel bad about it or to complain about it doesn't make sense, because I'm anyway not available in that capacity to anyone. So, but in professional capacity where I've been, and I never did it intentionally, but like I said, it was so competitive and it was so difficult for me to make this journey. For which of my contemporaries can brag about this journey? I don't think anybody in recent history of cinema has either their parents, maybe they're supermodels, or their parents are army officers, or or their parents are superstars already, or they're sports superstar, or like filmmakers or whatever. Nobody has made a journey from this to that. To, like I always say, like a small town of Himachal Pradesh to Rashtrapati Bhavan. So for me, to be able to negotiate so many corners, like people come with, maybe today star kids come with the problem that they don't know acting. My problem was not that. I don't know styling, I don't know English, I don't even have contacts, I don't do fairness, I don't even do math, I don't like to work with big heroes. So my issues were different, but there were just so many. So so just negotiating all this, I never had time for personal kind of social circle.
What are the challenges that you're fighting now? Now that you've learned English, you've made your money, you've proved yourself, you've reached Rashtrapati Bhavan, what's next?
Well, now I do feel that I have blossomed as a human being, and I want that to reflect in my work. Now it's not just extracting with from society and just taking and just I've done enough of that. I want to give back to the film I make. I want to set an example of culture, art, how art should represent um, society, and what society should represent And how, what are the, I just want to, I want to set an example of a beautiful society, so that when I'm gone, people look at my films and be like, I don't know what kind of world we will live in, but they're like, there were people who were thinking like this, in those
I
days.
have to tell you, Tanu Weds Manu Returns Part 2 is something that I will always remember. Each and every dialogue till date cracks me up like nothing.
Well, I think those kind of films are important, but I don't think they will be able to get their audience now, because the
Yeah.
times are, and it's
But you know, that Queen, those are roles of yours that stay with you. They touch a chord with you.
yes. I think, and that's what I mean, that Queen has also established itself as one of those, first feminist films, maybe after Mother India,
Mm.
So if we do work at this stage, we should do work like that.
Is your feminism or inclination towards female oriented issues and struggles as somebody who has stepped from outside of the industry and made it big, has that also played a huge role in how you choose brand endorsements and brand associations, because you've been very selective?
Yeah, I mean, it was never, I never thought it will, karma will come in such a way and get all of them who have been endorsing fairness games. I never thought this one big day will happen where they will all be made to stand in one line and be asked, how dare you guys been just so shamelessly, blatantly endorsing fairness creams. I just did it because, I mean, there's something about conscience. Like I said, when you face yourself, there was nobody to clap back then, because from not just one fairness cream, from sunscreen to a bleach cream to even like a regular moisturizer, everything has fairness in it in India, So you can imagine how many products I must have refused, and year after year. And like I said, there was sometimes pressures from the agency, that agency will leave my work. That also meant not just endorsements, but events I won't get. If I don't have an agent, how do I run my business?
Yeah.
So I have let go of agents. I've let go of so much, but I never thought that I will get acknowledged for it, because back then it was way before Queen. I was not even successful, but I did it. I mean, that I would like to somewhere, beyond strategies and beyond, there is something called conscience, where if you have some sort of sense of fairness, and if you do believe, goodness of humanity, we, I mean, it's just that you should be ready to, like I said, I was not even, I, I didn't even know it will someday will get acknowledged, but I was still doing it.
I know, would politics ever be a route through which you would want to spread the goodness and give back to society?
For me, like, I live by very high standards of whatever I do. Like when I started as an actor also, I was like, I probably would want to be the best there has ever been. I'm not almost stardom, but at least the craft. So I have very high standards of everything that I do, and I sincerely believe that if you're in public service, especially if you're leading the nation, you should um, you should not have a personal life. You should not have your own life, which is the only way to go about it. And for me, like, I'm I'm a sucker for life. I love beautiful things, and I love fashion, and I love my life so much. So that I just feel that, can I do that? Can I be a person who's always working for others, and then in return they don't even appreciate you? Can I be that person ever? I don't think, because I love my life, and I love waking up in the mornings and having my tea, just because it's my tea, not because I'm a public servant and I have to rush to sleep and thing and like that. So I don't know, if I think if there has to be leader, it should be like Lord Rama, who does not have a personal life. Everything that person can sacrifice for people. That is the only standard for somebody to be a leader. If I can't set up those standards, I don't have no right to be a leader. So I don't think that's happening. I love my money too
Happening
much.
then on the personal life front that you're so badly trying to balance? Give us the
No,
goss, Kangna. Is there a special man on the horizon or already there?
well, no, that's not what I'm saying. But all I'm
I
saying is,
know, I'm just trying to dig out something here. The blushing is
aren't
telling
you
us
business?
something completely different.
No, aren't you business journalist?
We're looking for a different
A
kind of
journalist.
breaking news on ET now this time.
No, hopefully, yeah. You can have a personal life even without a man. Come on.
Absolutely, absolutely. So no man, you're trying to dodge our questions.
Well, I thought I'm with business journalists. Come on.
Okay, the silence is giving us something, and we will try to read between the lines then, Kangna, over here. So what's next on the horizon then?
Well, work. I mean, I really like chilling, but at the same time, I'm meaning to go back to sets and revive whatever we have lost in between. As in, the whole connection between the star and the audience is lost. It's kind of disrupted, but it'll be back. My film Talaivi, we were hoping to release it in June. So
Hmm.
there was this constant, every year, two films of mine were coming. So there was this constant relationship that was going on. But it's erupted now. Anyway, we'll be able to resume soon.
Kangna, we don't have coffee and we don't have Karan, but shall we do a quick rapid fire round? Quick 5,
Okay.
10 questions?
Okay.
Okay then. And Karuna, feel free to hop in over here. Next film on the release.
On the release, Talaivi.
And when is that likely to be?
Well, now after Corona, I think next year sometime, maybe mid next year or towards the end, depending on when we resume the theaters.
Okay. Kangana Ranaut's favorite movie of herself.
Of myself,
Yeah.
I think because my films are so celebrated, and I want to give love to the one which never got so much love. I think Rangoon, it's quite nice, but
It
it
is.
never got any love. So I think I would like to name Rangoon.
One movie of another actor that you really like.
Another actor, I think Nargis, that's Mother India.
And current age actor?
Uh, there are many actually. I think Sonakshi Sinha's Lutera and Alia's Razi and which one I saw lately? Andhadhun, Taboot Andhadhun.
Yeah.
So there are a couple of them.
Okay. Rangoli the sister or Rangoli the manager?
Rangoli, the manager.
Why?
Please, we fight a lot.
Really?
We
What do you guys fight
fight
about?
everything. We right now also we were fighting about something.
So Kangna the actor or Kangna the filmmaker?
For myself,
Yes.
filmmaker any day. Filmmaker.
Okay.
I think I as a person who I am, I kind of come to my own when I'm a filmmaker, because being an actor, you just need to be a good artist and you need to be diligent. But I do feel that the most empowering and most overpowering trait of my personality is um, my vision, my leadership qualities, the way I articulate myself, and also my discipline, and my energy to execute stuff. Um, all this is just lies, kind of dead when I work as an actor. Only like a small segment of my personality is being used. But when I'm a director, I'm kind of consumed by the process, and when the day starts and it just ends, I don't know. It's just like everything that I had is taken, and next day again, everything that I had is taken. So the way I'm emptied when I'm a director, I love that. I feel that I'm living. But as an actor, there's a lot of agitation, and yes, they want me. Okay, what time they call me? 2 hours wait. They call me again. But like I said, there's so much to me, which it doesn't be is not being utilized.
Okay.
Kangana, one last rapid fire question. I know you don't like superheroes, but if a historic figure there is any that you would really love to play?
Oh, historic figures, they're not really superwomen, women, but I think, hmm, well, I wouldn't like to play, but I would like to direct somebody like a Draupadi. I do think that she's an extraordinary woman.
Yeah.
And yeah, there are a couple of them, but I don't think I will suit in Draupadi's role. She's too seductive, and she was apparently dark skinned, and she was gorgeous. Um, but
But she was a feminist too in her ways.
and she was a very strong person. I mean, the women in our history, they never got their due. I think Draupadi will be such a extraordinary character to direct and to execute and to bring to the world. Yeah.
Would you like to play her part as well?
No, it won't suit me. But I can direct her well. But it won't suit me. I think
So who would play Draupadi if you were to direct from the current film lot?
I think, like, say, somebody like Deepika or somebody like Bipasha, who are naturally sensual and who are very strong in their demeanor, as in, like, people who are able to, exude sensuality but strength at the same time. So I think
I have to ask you, Kangana, that just about everyone is on social media, and that's how in the lockdown they're staying relevant. Be it the stories of their kids, because now paps also don't have any jobs because everyone is locked up in their house. They're doing these Insta lives, this, that. How is it that you stay relevant? And do you now, at least in the lockdown, have felt the pressure that, yeah, I need to get on Twitter and I need to get on Instagram perhaps and show the world what I've been up to, otherwise they'll forget about me?
oh, I'd rather have the world forget about me because then I can, I can sort of, make a comeback. Because I think I don't know, there is a saying that art is nurtured in loneliness. There is a saying that art is nurtured in loneliness and exhibited in crowd. I really am a very traditional thinker, and I think um, I do believe in that. So I would like to actually disappear from everybody's memory so I can make a grand comeback.
You're one of a kind, Kangana Ranaut. Thank you so much for taking the time out and speaking with us. There's been a lot of learning in all that you've said and the way you've lived your life. It's truly inspirational.
But I have a lot to learn from you guys, and I'm gonna have coffee, tea, something with you when I have some money to invest.
Even if you don't have the money to invest, Kangana, we can always have coffee, tea with you. It's going to be a maha entertaining session.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Shanti.